This lecture is being recorded. So I'll be teaching you ESP, English for Specific Purposes, this semester. And it's again a 3 credit hours course, and we'll be meeting on Mondays and Tuesdays as the schedule has already been shared with you, okay? So the first thing first is, am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. That's nice. So I hope everyone was informed that we are having our online classes from Monday, that is today. I hope more people join in. Right. Now, English for specific purposes, or ESP, as it was just mentioned, ESP on your timetable. So this stands for English for specific purposes. I don't know if you have done your language teaching methods, but for simplification of the concept, ESP is one of the teaching methods. There are a number of teaching methods. By teaching methods, I mean teaching of English as a second language methods. Okay, and there are a number of methods like it has a history. Language teaching methods have a history of developing, researching, and then improving. And then it starts from language translation method, okay, which is still in practice in Pakistan. Grammar translation method is all about teaching through translation into the mother tongue or whatever language it is. For instance, in Pakistan, you must have seen in the schools also, the method is quite prevalent even now. Teachers read anything in English, and then instead of explaining that in English alone, they translate it into Urdu. Okay. Um, I'm not. It's a very old method, and we cannot blame the teachers who are teaching English in Pakistan because it's a popular method. Also, students understand it more when the language is translated into their language anyway. So I'm just sharing you, the history of language teaching methods. And then came the audiolingual method, that was a method of repetition. That we also have experienced during our school times, that a student comes in front of the class, he or she reads, and the student, the class repeats after him, right? This is how they try to rote learn the language, right? So whenever I'll be talking about the teaching methods, I'm not talking about teaching of any other subject or a method used to teach any other subject, only English as a second language, right? And from time to time, we'll be admitting more students also. I don't know, there are settings that only I can admit people. I really want to change these settings so that they can get into the class without interrupting us. Anyway, so uh, so then moving from grammar translation to audiolingual, then task-based learning, and communicative language teaching is a modern method comparatively. And then we ended up in eclectic approach. Okay, now what is this eclectic approach? Eclectic approach means that the teacher uses a combination of techniques, strategies, and methods. She does not focus on one of the methods because every class is different. She observes the class and then applies the method accordingly, and it can be a combination of the method. Maybe for speech or for teaching speaking of English as a second language, you might be using communicative language method or communicative language approach, communicative language teaching. And for teaching of grammar, you might be using grammar translation methods. You must have seen that the question of translation is still a part of paper in our system, educational system. In metric also, we have 2 paragraphs that we need to translate from one language to another. Okay. All of this I'm telling you because ESP um, is quite broad, but if we talk in simplifying terms, this is also a method. English for a specific purpose is a method, and it is also an eclectic approach. As I've told you, what eclectic approach actually is. It's a whole set of strategies, method, but in short and in simple words, eclectic approach is a combination of teaching methods, and it is using whatever is feasible, whatever suits a particular group of students, and whatever a teacher can do to teach English as a second language. Okay, it's really eclectic approach is really up to the teachers. Otherwise, uh, this course would have been a simpler one had you studied a language teaching method. Language teaching method is our course, but I don't know if it will be taught to you in the next semester, maybe. Anyway, so till now, what I have, I'm trying to tell you is that English for specific purposes is one of the teaching methods. And what kind of approach it takes? It takes eclectic approach. And what is eclectic approach? Eclectic approach is a combination of methods, strategies, and approaches, whatever suits the students or a group of students or a class. It is at the discretion of the teacher, whatever she chooses and she feels best for the students in order to teach them English as a second language. Okay. Is it clear this far? Is the beginning of the introduction clear to you all? You can raise your hands. We have a feature of raising hands here. Okay. Only mine understands this all. Is it? Okay, what about Farhana, Farmina, Fazila, Guljabeen? I hope you are there and listening, and I hope you understand it also. Okay, right. So we are going fine, right? Now, there are some of the features, right? So if I'm just telling you the history of language teaching methods so that you can know the of change in the methods and the need of the students and the popularity of these methods. Now, starting from the basic grammar translation or audiolingual method for that matter, they were teacher centered. Again, because our teaching are not so advanced in Pakistan, most of our classes are teacher centered. Still, online classes are teacher centered. This is a teacher centered class, for example. If you want to know what is a teacher centered class, right? Teacher is the center of the class, and basically it's about the talking time. Who talks more, or who has more time to talk, or who has more right to talk? That decides whether it's a teacher centered or student centered class. So the initial method or the beginning of language teaching methods actually were teacher centered. And as we move forward to communicative language teaching, the focus from the teacher went to the students. Okay, classes became student centered, and uh, by research we found that student centered classrooms are give more chance to the students to learn, right, rather than the teacher centered classroom. So ESP, the first characteristic of ESP is that it is a learner centered approach, right? And then the second characteristic is it is multidisciplinary. Now, why is it multidisciplinary? Multidisciplinary means it falls in multiple disciplines, and it is just not a part of English linguistics for that matter. Now, English for specific purposes means that different people would learn English according to their needs, right? Um, in this lecture, we'll see what are the needs. And how could the needs of different people or different students can be different from one another, right? So there we'll discuss that there are academic needs and there are professional needs. That is why this methods becomes multidisciplinary, right? Students of engineering will have their specific needs, students of medicines, students of law, okay, uh, aviation students, all of these students will have different needs. For instance, like you are students of English linguistics and you are studying in a university, okay, you're expected to write a research paper, okay, you are expected to solve your uh, literature exam papers or linguistics exam papers. You write your papers, right? It's just not that you write papers for publications, but you write papers in your examination, and you write your assignments. So your needs are different from the needs of an engineering student who might not have to write maybe the research paper, or essay writing is not his requirement. His requirements are different, okay. Similar is the case with students of medicine, so students of aviation, law students, etc. Right? So this is why this is multidisciplinary. It actually aims at, and what we the target is that you should be able to design a course for um, for these students according to their needs. Okay. So this is the target, and this is the main objective of the course. That this course should enable you to design curriculum or course outline for students of different fields, right? So this is why this is called as multidisciplinary, and it is learner centered, it is multidisciplinary, and it fulfills the academic and professional occupational language needs. Now, as I told you, that it is an eclectic approach. Eclectic approach means a combination of approaches. Okay, so this method is can be a combination of CLT, communicative language teaching, task-based language teaching, or PBL. This is visible on the screen. Okay, problem-based learning, right? So this is how it takes things from all around it. These are some of the methods. Okay, as I was telling you the history of the methods, so this CLT is one of the modern methods. TBLT, task-based language teaching, and problem-solving learning, all of these are the modern methods. Okay, and it takes things from all these methods. Let me put some of the participants in. Okay, right. So now this ESP is informed by a long research of almost 50 years of research and practice, and it has become one of the most influential methods. Okay, it works in academic settings and it works in professional settings, that is the workplace. Now, I told you that it incorporates all of these communicative language teaching. These are just a few of the approaches or the methods that makes ESP. Otherwise, ESP, when we say that ESP is an eclectic approach, we mean that, it's free to actually take any of the approaches. Okay. It has its unique features. Um, it, it in collaborates in the planning and teaching, and uh, it has actually becomes it has actually become a profession. ESP, English for a specific purpose. Experts are there who design the courses, okay, of ESP. Now, ESP has started to play a key role in all the companies for, developing their international strategies also. So it is just not based in a single institution, but it is helping a lot of organization, a lot of institutions, and a lot of professions at the same time. Right? I hope is it is. I hope that you have understood this far. So moving on to the next slide, let's talk about the definition of ESP. I have been referring to these two terms, academic needs or ESP for academic purposes, occupational needs, ESP for occupational purposes. Okay. So these are two terms that make up the definition of English for specific purposes. Okay. Now, after the definition, I would like you to, reflect on a few things that I would give you some time and then you can do some activity in the class. Okay. So, ESP targets learners' academic and occupational needs. I've already referred to these, but you need to know two terms. Basically, I told you that this is the aim of anyone who becomes an ESP expert or whosoever is involved in English for specific purposes. They are actually targeting two kinds of needs. Okay, academic needs and occupational needs. Now, both of these needs serve a different set of students, right? So, are your needs academic or are your needs occupational as far as English is concerned? Okay, who is answering? Um, you can answer me in the chat. My first reflective question is, you are studying English since you're grade 1, okay? So my question is, are your needs academic or are your needs occupational? Quickly to the chat. I hope there's an option of chat. Yes, there's an option of chat. You can reply in the chat. Are your needs of learning English academic or occupational? Quickly, quick, so that we can move further. Get up, guys. Do you understand my question or should I put it in the chat?
Ma'am, the option is here, but it's not working. Chat option.
My chat option isn't working. Uh, you schedule meeting and you started a meeting and I'm just saying hi to you. Just check that do you get this hi and then can you message here? I don't know why your chat option isn't working. Okay. Uh, let me see. Okay. I would ask Hafsa. Yes, Hafsa. Hafsa, you can, unmute. Can you unmute yourself? Hafsa Shabbir. Yes, Hafsa. Quickly, guys. Muqaddas, please mute your mobile. Okay, Mahin. Yes, finally, Mahin. Where is Mahin? Yes, Mahin. Are your needs academic or occupational? Yes, Farmina.
For academic needs.
Why? Could you elaborate a little? Yes, Tayyaba, and we have Nida, we have Maheen, we have Sarosh. All are from the bridge semester. Where's this sixth semester? Is China here? Quickly, guys, so that we can move forward. Am I actually audible? What's happening? Is the class going fine?
Yes, ma'am.
So why
Yes,
is no
ma'am.
one replying? Okay, how are your needs academic? What do you do with English? Why have you learned English? What do you do with it? The part one is fine, okay? Your needs are academic, but how? Maheen, are you there? Maheen, your mic is open, but I'm unable to hear you. Just let me know if you're talking even. Okay, guys, I don't know. There's something wrong. I'm not able to hear you, or you're not even speaking, or you don't even understand what I'm asking you. Anyway, we can proceed further. Okay, so basically, you know, ESP, English for specific purposes, is an approach to language teaching. I've told you, and it targets your needs, which can be academic or professional. There are two kinds of needs, and it focuses on necessary language skills, uh, genres to address those needs. And it assists learners in meeting these needs through the use of general or specific teaching material and methods. Okay, so basically, ESP is a teaching approach. One thing, it is eclectic. Another thing, it is student centered. Third thing, it is multidisciplinary. Fourth thing, and it targets the needs. It is need based. Let's put it in simple words. ESP, English for specific purposes, is need based. And there are two kinds of needs. One is academic needs, and the other is occupational needs. I wanted you to reflect on your needs. And, there's a student who answered this correctly, that Your needs are academic needs and not the professional needs. Okay. Now, why do we say that your needs are academic needs? It's right there on your screens because you learn English in order to understand the lectures. They are in English. Um, you comprehend them. It helps you in comprehending whatever is going on in the classrooms, as far as the teaching and learning is concerned. You learn English so as to enable yourselves to write papers, exam papers, and assignments. So your needs are purely academic needs. Okay. Now coming to you know um, we'll elaborate on academic needs more, but for now, let's move to occupational needs. What are the occupational needs? Occupational needs are basically when you need to use the language. Here we mean English language at your workplace communication. And why would you need English at your workplace? Maybe you are working in a corporate or you are working in any of the organization where you need to do the presentations. And in many organizations, even if you are teaching somewhere, you need to do presentations off and on. Okay. You might be working in the bank, you might be working in your offices, you might be teaching somewhere, but everywhere, you need to present something. So for this presentations, also you need English, right? And then specific jargons you need to know for specific fields. For example, aviation has its own phrases. Aviation means, what is aviation? What is this field of aviation? Who's telling me this? What is aviation? I've used this term again and again without knowing whether you know the meaning of aviation or not. Who's telling me what is aviation? Could you just raise your hands? Hey guys, I don't know if I'm really audible because you're not audible to me, and I'm just it's a one-sided thing going on. Wait, what is aviation? Okay. Okay. Aviation is about flying planes and communicating with the control center and all the related jargons. Maybe we come across a few in a little while, right? So this is one of the fields. I was only, checking your vocabulary. Okay. So coming back to more of what are the academic needs, I told you that in school or universities and other setting where your primary goal is learning, you need English as a second language or language for that matter to write down your papers, do the presentations, make the assignments. For all that, you need language. Okay. Then there is an example given in your books also. I've actually shared a book, okay, and this is chapter 1 from there. So there's an example of what happens in the Japanese university. There are ESP courses which help the science students to learn how to listen to and understand content lecture given in English through a process of note taking and discussion. Okay. Even in US, where English is the first language, in their universities there are numerous ESP courses which are offered to the overseas students. They it helps them to do the academic writing. Okay, so there is a lot of demand for ESP courses. Okay, now basically these ESP courses are for the non-native speakers. Much of the time, these courses are designed for the non-native speakers. Okay, and less of the times it is for the native speaker. I mean, I am using these terms with the assumption that you know who are the native speakers and who are the non-native speakers, and what do we mean by the academic needs, what are the professional needs, and then there are some vocabulary terms also. I only knew that you did not you haven't done the course of methods in language teaching. That's why I give you a little bit of history, but I'm just teaching you clueless. um, how much do you know, and what are your reflections, because I'm unable to. I don't know if you're not audible or you're not participating, but um, I would like to I really would like to have a feedback from you after the class, and we would like to sort these technical issues by our next class. Anyway, so getting back to the occupational needs, uh, they refer to the needs of the learner in workplace settings. It can be factories, it can be restaurants, it can be the hospitals. Okay. Um, Many companies organize intensive ESP courses which can help the staff with skills that are needed. Language skills. For instance, I've already told you at many of the places they need these presentation skills. And I told you about the aviation industry where pilots receive specialized language training so that they can effectively communicate with flight controllers. And there shouldn't be any errors because, that can result in killing of a number of people if there is a miscommunication in the field of aviation from the pilots to the control centers. Okay. Then there are vocational trainings also, um, call centers, if you have any idea. I'm using these terms. Please read about these. Uh, what are call centers? What do they do? How do they know? How do they use the language? What are their needs? What are their language needs? Okay. Since I'm unable to get a instant feedback from you right now, this is our first class. So we'll sort these technical issues out. I hope these are technical issues and not the issues related to your sleeping during the lectures or you're unable to, um, comprehend the lectures or the language. Okay. I'm just assuming things right now. Okay. And it is all going one sided. Okay. There are a number of exercises here that you can do, but I don't know how you should do it. Okay. Now, uh, there are a few terms that I would like to introduce here. One is the genre, and the other are the skills. Okay. There's a difference between the genre and the skills, right? And then there are non-linguistic needs and there are linguistic components, right? I would like you to refer to those also. Okay. Okay. Um, now, for now, uh, I would like you to search about few things. Okay. For today's class, right? Since I'm not getting any quick feedback from you, so there's no point of teaching you further and further. without getting to know whether you have understood it all. Now, what I would like you to do is in the next 15 minutes, you would be doing it on your own. Okay. Um, I would like you to find out the difference between genre and skills, one thing. And I would like you to reflect on this slide, okay, which says ESP needs are non-linguistic needs with a linguistic component. Okay, so how can the needs be non-linguistic, and how can be their solution lie in linguistic components? Okay, so I would like you to uh, reflect on this, right, and also on academic needs, occupational needs, and also the difference between skill and genre. Okay. Um, for that, you can use a number of sources, AI for sure, but I would like you to read this chapter on your own. Okay. Um, so uh, it's you have time for the next class, and till the next class, I would like you to do these things here. Since this lecture is on the recording, so I cannot just wait for your feedback, but just send your feedback to your CR so that I can know and I can plan my next class accordingly. Okay, so just raise your hands. I'm not asking you to speak. I don't know why are you hesitant to speak online or in the online classes? Just raise your hands. How many of you have understood whatever we have discussed? Okay, Tayyaba has understood. Or who else? Okay, Khatima, Muskan. Okay, but I would really like to know why there was a barrier. I mean, were you not speaking? Were you unable to speak? Were you unable to write in the chat? Because there has to be discussion. How do I just keep on speaking in there? um, I need to know if there are good listeners and they are able to understand and all that. Okay, let me stop the recording, and then we will sort these matters out, because and the recording has to be uploaded and the recording shouldn't be very very quiet. Okay, Maheen has understood, but I was unable to listen to her. Anyway, now for tomorrow, okay, for tomorrow, I would like to I would like you to read this chapter. Okay, reflect on the questions that I've asked you to reflect on, right? And then we'll have some. I would like to have a discussion and activities also. We can plan how technically we can handle those. Okay, so we have a class tomorrow, right? So I'll see you tomorrow, same time. But just stay here. Let me stop the recording, and then we'll sort this matter out. Okay.